The Guardian's head has been honorably prepared and placed. We may now begin the ritual.
Ato ol komfrangi e brandi ole hanemelen. Ades da marharmam. Inquid dam da veru evridenas ta hanemo. Havelu de talugedon. Close de tahawan. Uledi de taragam, king in tagamem. Qua in animam ha sa eniedi.
My dear, you gave us quite the scare. You'd fallen into a sort of catatonic state that made us think you might be dying.
I'm well. Even if I am exhausted and disorientated. What I felt is difficult to describe. I was Ladan. Suddenly I felt my body shredded in an explosion of terrific rage. And then I was that rage, and I became something else. I was immense. My roots digging into the depths of the earth, my peaks touching the sky. But I was wounded and full of hatred. And then I saw myself, tiny, sitting here, as if hiding in a shard of my past, powerful greatness.
It was violent. Terribly so. The spirit of the continent. Gakan is of a completely different nature than on Milfrichtimen. A vengeful and destructive will devours it entirely. I am not surprised that anyone binding with it is transformed immediately.
That's it. I was all of Gakan. And I was full of infinite suffering, as if thousands of needles were piercing my skin. I felt violated. I'm dying. As if some horrifying illness had infected me.
I sensed in my mountaintops the place where I wanted to bond. Something there continued to draw from my power.
You're describing this as if you truly felt it. I am so sorry for you. It must have been horrible.
You're going to need to rest after this. Did you see anything that could help us anticipate Kernaz's next movements?
Yes. Other than the caverns, I felt certain places as if they were my own internal organs, beating with energy. I suppose that these are places of power. Places where bonding rituals might be performed as well.
I know this might be a stupid question, but do you think you could locate them?
Would you know how to find your heart? Yes. I felt where they can be found. One of them we know already. It's the one on the lands of the congregation, near the border with your country. There were others beyond there. I don't know how they are called, but I could show them to you on a map.
I suggest we notify the Duton Embassy to ensure that these powerful places are properly guarded.
Excellent idea, Ludwig. Even if it would be risky for Kurnaz to send men directly into the heart of enemy territory.
Agreed. Since it only requires a small detachment of men to create one of these creatures, surveillance would not hurt.
Alas, there were also several on these lands. And these could be easily exploited by the General. There were two twins. One, a great chasm to the north of Alima. A cancer in my flesh. And the other touched my peaks. I imagine that it's a mine near another site of ruins in the mountains. There was another to the north. Still within my entrails, near a long, wet scar.
You're speaking of the Tyne Canal, I think. There are numerous Astrian ruins in the region. This place must be one of them.
That is possible. Oh, there were so many, my head is spinning. Concerning the twin sites, I believe the one in the mountain heights is where Nilan bonded himself. We know there was a mine nearby. That's probably the other twin site. It was leaking pus. Much more wounded than the others.
Till, Safia, do you know this mine?
That would be an old copper mine. I think it's abandoned.
I concur. Production was stopped years ago. The copper was eventually depleted after centuries of exploitation.
Yet, still I sensed that something was going on there. We should go and see.
I agree. I felt the same thing. As if something were stretching me.
Kurnaz chose this place to continue his research, and it will be heavily guarded.
And your vision of the ruins near the border?
It was a place like the others. I just recognized it more easily because we had been there. Great battles were fought there in ancient times, weren't they?
Yes. The war between the Empire and the free cities, supported by the Congregation, spilled over all the way to those lands. The earth must still be drenched in the blood of the poor soldiers who perished there.
Yes. There was so much blood spilled.
Perhaps. But we went there and a ritual was already performed. It wouldn't seem an urgency to return.
Yes. It's to the mines that we should go first. Something is going on there.